You're listening to Wake Up Springfield with Alex Bryant, news director Don Luzader, and producer Matea Miller.
Welcome back to Wake Up Springfield. Pastor Alex Bryant here. We have, I wanted to get this couple. I always like to find interesting people that are doing some pretty cool and interesting stuff. I met this couple a couple years ago, Megan and Tech Carpenter. They are missionaries to Ecuador. And so I met them when they were raising funds, getting ready to take their beautiful family over to Ecuador. And they have done that now. They are joining us from Ecuador. They are missionaries, Assemblies of God missionaries, Tech and Megan. How are you all this morning, Tech and Megan? You guys there?
Yeah, I'm here. Megan is actually taking care of our daughter. She's not feeling well this morning, so it's just me.
Okay, well, good to have you, Tech. Thanks for joining us. So,
yeah, appreciate being there.
So I'm going to say this, and and we all have seen publicly, like nationwide news, how the young missionary couple, Davy and Natalie Lloyd, were killed in Haiti, and they're doing good work, God's work, and it just amazes me, Tech, that you and your wife would take your family over to Ecuador, and I understand they're not in an uprising like Haiti is. But nevertheless, you're over there, so tell us what you're doing and why. What motivates you to go over there to spread the gospel to the people of Ecuador?
Well, first thing, as far as the reason, honestly, we couldn't do anything else. I had previously served in Venezuela, my wife as well. That's actually where we met. And when we came back to the States, we felt like it was for a season, that, the Lord kind of pulled us away for a season to really build the foundation for our family. But there was never a moment in time, as great as our community was in Springfield, there was never a moment in time where we felt just situated there. We always felt kind of uneasy, like we were not where we needed to be. The Lord also used that time really to give us the calling for Ecuador. We felt like we would move back overseas and probably to Latin America, but at the time our hearts were in Venezuela, which is still, although things are a bit better there, it's still in turmoil. So many people have left Venezuela, but the Lord really gave us a heart for Ecuador, and specifically for this group of Afro-Ecuadorians in the Chota Valley. So Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, most of Latin America actually has a Afro population that are descendants from slaves. And specifically, there's a group in the Chota Valley that are just unreached. The entire Afro-Ecuadorian population is less than 1% Christian. And most are known in an area called Esmeraldas, which between Esmeraldas and the Chota Valley makes up 70% of the Afro-Ecuadorians in the country. But the Chota Valley is just an unreached area. Not a lot of work has been put into that area at all. There was a missionary in the past who attempted some work there. But even with the church that exists in Ecuador, there's just not much attention put to these people. And so they're mostly unforgotten. They're mostly forgotten. The education levels are low. The government, in terms of funding, has not helped this area. So you've got people who've been through traumatic experience, who live in poverty and have been mostly forgotten.
Yeah. So, Tech, I have been to Venezuela. I know a little bit about what you're talking about. I knew about the minority slaves that, went through there. And so, but here's my question to you is this. You obviously have a heart for that, and you are a man of color as well.
Yes.
What would you say to that person that says, well, why not, because your heart is for minorities, but also missions, but why not do that here in the United States where it's a little bit more safe? What would you say to that person that would say that to you?
Safe is a relative term. Anything can happen anywhere, anytime. The amazing thing is, while I lived in Springfield, my mom would call me about crime in Springfield. I grew up in Camden, New Jersey, which is, at many times been one of America's most dangerous cities. And anything can happen anywhere at any time. The reality is the Lord's called us here. And so that's enough for me. That's where we put our trust. I can't I grew up, in youth ministry with people saying the safest place is to be in the Lord's will. It's not true. It's the best place to be, though.
Wow.
And so I'll take that. I'll be wherever He wants me. And when it's my time, it's my time. I'm just going to trust that, He's got a purpose, and I don't think He wants to not fulfill that purpose.
Yeah.
So I just, I live here same as I live anywhere else. Like, whenever it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah. Well, Tech, it reminds me of General Cornwall Jackson used to be known for riding on his horse in the middle of battle, and people are ducking bullets, but he's like, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. I mean, that's the way it is. And that's kind of the heart that you have. And so let's talk a little bit specifically about the work that you guys have planned there in Ecuador. Your heart and your main goal is to do missions work, to take the gospel of Jesus Christ to all the people of Ecuador, but specifically a lot of the minorities there. And so, tell us about that.
There's other missionaries here in Ecuador, and they're doing what they're called to do. For us, this is just a group that has been, basically neglected, but God hasn't forgotten them. And so, we're the only ones I know of right now that are specifically, trying to reach Afro-Ecuadorians, and specifically in the Chota Valley. I believe there are other missionaries from a different organization out on the coast, which is great, but we need more, and unreached people. My family's not going to do it all. We're not going to be able to. It's not possible. But we're at least the start of something. And so, for us, our time so far has been, building those relationships, making those relationships, these communities. And in the Chota, I think there's about 17 different communities. We've not reached all of them yet. We've not visited all of them. But you almost have to be welcomed in. And for one, I believe that, my ethnicity helps me, it helps my family to gain some of this access. The Lord connected us with a family that has a heart for the Chota, and they're both Afro-Latino. One is Afro-Colombian, and the other is Afro-Ecuadorian, but from the coast. And they've been introducing us to the people, the parents of the communities and the people who, have influence. And through those relationships, we're looking to establish the church, and in the way that is appropriate for these communities,
Are people asking you guys, like, what made you decide to come over here? Like, is that questions like you got a beautiful young daughter? How old is your daughter now? Like 3 or so?
My daughter's 9.
No,
she's 9
she's
now.
9? Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So,
she's
but,
grown.
do people ask you that? Like, what made you bring your family over here?
People are interested in why we're here, and it's an opportunity to let them know that it's God's love for people that is why we're here. We often get told about how hard it is, because again, it's not like no attempts have been made, but people have just decided it's too hard to get into these communities and to get through the culture. But honestly, I think the approach may be the issue. Rather than just going in to, build something or give away something or try that approach, we're just spending time in the community developing friendships, and not just looking to, go and say, okay, we've got a church here. We are trying to, through relationships, build these, introduce people to the true gospel. There's some history in these communities from, obviously from their enslavement days, from when they were enslaved by British, or when the Spanish Jesuits who were here in country had them working as slaves. There was just a lot of abuse. There's been a lot of, racism that has even lingered throughout mestizos throughout the country. And so it's a long history of oppression, and the people are pretty closed off to a lot of things. I've been told that they're willing to accept gifts, but not accept the gospel. Well, for us, we're not going in with gifts. We're going in with the love of Christ and the gospel.
There you go.
And so I know other people are kind of trying to figure out what we're doing and how we're doing it, but we're just following the Holy Spirit's leading, and ultimately God will change the hearts of the people in Machota and those within the country, and we'll see his kingdom here.
We're talking with Tech Carpenter. He and his wife, Megan, they are missionaries to Ecuador, going over there, spreading the love of Jesus, the love of God. How can people find out more about you? I know you have a website, carpentermissions.com. Is that the best way for people to know about what you're doing and maybe even partner with you, get involved and follow your journey? Yeah,
I mean, carpentermissions.com has a link to pretty much everything. We're on social, so you can find us on, Instagram and on Facebook under, just at Carpenter Missions. We've got some videos, some sermons, some informational things on YouTube as well. But carpentermissions.com would kind of take you to everything. Obviously, we're spending a lot of our time on the ground and not necessarily making content. but in this world, it's easier for people to find things when it's out there. So we try to, give people some insight to what it's like here and some things that are going on.
That's good. Well, Tech, keep us posted. Let us know what's happening and what's going on. We want to celebrate your wins. We want to be there to pray for you guys in the midst of your trials as well. So, Tech and Megan Carpenter, they are missionaries to Ecuador in this time where a lot of people are leaving countries because of the danger factor. They feel called to go and spread the gospel and the love of Jesus Christ to the people of Ecuador, specifically to the Afro. What do you call them? The Afro minorities?
So we refer to them as Afro-Ecuadorians, but we're hearing, depending in the different communities, they may, refer to themselves more as Afro-Latinos or Afro-Choteños but yeah, Afro-Ecuadorians, and I mean, just throughout Latin America, all Afro-Latinos.
There you go. Keep up the good work, Tech. Thanks for giving us an update.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the time.
Hey, God bless you. So carpentermissions.com if you want to follow what they're doing. carpentermissions.com. So, hey, we're going to get to another local news update with Don Luzader. And then when we come back, I'm going to tell you about the records that President Biden is breaking. He is breaking them left and right, people. And you need to know about these. And that's next right here on Wake Up Springfield.